Well, we have 10 minutes and then we're going to have to stop because I have another hearing because it took you 21 minutes to do what you needed to do to come to court. We will go on the record in the matter 25 SC 97 Michael Hess versus Rose Hutari. Appearances are we have Mr. Hess appearing in person without counsel. Ms. Hutari appears in person without counsel. We're set today in this matter on Mr. Hess's petition for replevin. He's asking that a 7-year-old German Shepherd be returned to him. Basically, that's all I have in this case. This is set for a court trial. It was in front of Commissioner Krupa. However, Commissioner Krupa was not able to reach any determination as this matter is a contested replevin. Mr. Hess and Ms. Hutari, please stand up, raise your right hands and be sworn in.
You affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
You may be seated. Mr. Hess, this is your motion, your hearing, and so you have the burden of proof, and you are first to present your case. You may begin.
Your Honor, about April of 2023, Ms. Hutari and I separated or stopped dating, cohabitating. I moved out. At that time, she gave me Samson, the German Shepherd. The understanding was that I had someplace stable for him to go to keep him, and that I would bring him back to visit. I followed through with those. I brought him back to visit after a number of visits. She said, "I don't want you to bring him anymore. I don't want anything to do with you." So I stopped doing that. Fast forward to April of 2025, this past April, I went to jail for a few weeks, and Rose called my mom, said we had some understanding that if something happened to me, that she would get Samson back. And she came and took Samson. When I got out of jail, was my first opportunity to have any contact whatsoever. I sent her a text message. And here is a copy of that thread.
Can't present it yet. You have to tell me
I'm
what
sorry.
what it is and let me know if
This
it's going to
is-
be relevant.
This is a chain of text messages between Rose and I when I first got out of jail. This is the contact that we had. I asked her how Samson was. Can I see him? Can we get him? Whatever. And she was adamantly said, no, not a chance in hell. She wasn't going to let me see him, wasn't going to let me anything. Samson, I got hurt in January of 2023. Broke my foot at work. Didn't heal right. Fast forward, I'm still going through therapy. I have an implant. Samson's been my emotional support through the whole thing up until April when she took him.
Oh, all right. You have text messages.
Yes.
Other than her saying, no, I'm not giving him back, what else are you trying to prove?
There's relevance in here, Your Honor. She
And I'm
said,
just going to say you have to stop talking when I'm talking. You can't talk over
Alright.
me. I have a court reporter who takes down everything. She can't take down two people speaking.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. In the text messages, the thread was our original agreement. She says why she removed herself from that agreement. And she also admits that Samson was my support and Samson was trying to save me and keep me. And she says that I failed him. And it also points out that Ms. Hutari thinks that I should be locked up behind bars. I'm not sure where she gets her information or her evidence or anything like that, but I've not been convicted in any court in this county or state. Or
That's not
country.
relevant for today, but yes.
I agree. Thank you. That's what I was getting at. Okay, because we're gonna hear that. It also shows that she said that it's in here that Samson was trying to save me. She recommended that I go see Jeannie Daniels, a medium in Frederick, and I did. I took Samson with me, and Miss Daniels said that Samson and I have not just met, we've met before. Her first question to me was, do you believe in reincarnation? I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not closed to it. I don't have enough information to make that decision. And she said that, well, you and Samson were in a life together before.
I don't know who Jeannie Daniels is.
I didn't either. She is a medium. She's very, very respected in her work area. Rose suggested we go see her.
All right, so what you have to prove to the court is that you are in proper ownership of Samson. I haven't heard when the dog was received or purchased or gotten as a gift.
April of 2023, sorry. After we broke up, there was some concern. I asked her what we're gonna do with the kid. She said he wants to be with you. He's followed me around since.
Again, I haven't heard when you first received or got the dog. I'm hearing April 2023. That's
Yep.
when you broke up. I'm not seeing how the dog poof came into your life.
That's what I was trying to explain, Your Honor. In April of 2023, about April, was when I moved out. We had a conversation, what we're gonna do with the dog. She said he wants to be with you.
When did you get the dog?
April of 2023.
Oh, so he just magically came up in your life in April 2023. When was the dog first received? From Miss Hutari? Did she buy the dog from a
First received.
pet?
First
place?
received by her.
From anybody? How did the
She-
dog come into ownership of anybody?
She bought the dog from her cousin in Pine City, I believe it was. He's 2018.
And were you together at that time?
No, we were friends.
Okay. All right, and then so when did you and Miss Hutari get into a relationship?
2020. But we'd been friends before that. I've known Samson since he was a puppy, since she got him. She'd actually gotten him for her ex-boyfriend.
You purchased him for an ex-boyfriend?
She purchased him and was going to give him to an ex-boyfriend, yes.
All right, and then you're indicating or telling the court that in April 2023, when you broke up, she gave you, Miss Hutari gave you Samson and said that you would give him a stable life. Do you have
Yes.
any proof other than your conversations?
Yeah, right. The text messages. There's no denial of her giving them to me. She admits that she gave him to me, that he was my dog.
Okay, where in those text messages would it say that?
Page 3.
And what does it say?
Well, I went through, okay, it says it was never that I didn't want Sammy. It was 100% that I didn't want you in my life at all. You had him and you went there. Sammy has served his time. Now it is time for him to relax and have a normal life.
Where does it say that she gave him to you?
Well, that is her response. There's no denial that she gave him to me from my text. Would you like me to read my text?
No.
Okay.
What I want to know is, okay, it could be a gift. It could be a contract. It could be something of that. I'm not hearing what it is.
It was a gift. There was no contract, verbal contract. That was it.
Okay, so as a gift, she gave him to you in 2023. And
Yes.
what was the conversation?
Conversation was, she said, if you have a stable place to take him, then yes, but I want you to bring him back to visit.
Okay. All right, and so you would like the court to receive those text messages?
Yes.
Please provide her, Ms. Hutari, with a copy as well as the court. I can have it, thank you. What else would you like me to know?
I'd like you to know that I've been working since I got Samson to make him a support animal. service animal. He has become an emotional support animal. And Rose knew that before, or when she gave him to me, that
Okay,
was,
unless you have a doctor's note, I'm not hearing as an emotional support animal.
yeah, I understand that. It's in the workings. Without airing out all my medical stuff to the court.
So since 2023, when you were in placement of, or you had custody of Sampson until April 2025, who paid his vet bills?
I did.
Is he up to date on his shots?
I'm not sure where he's at right now. I don't have his tag. I don't have any of that. Rose has had him since April, but he had his shots, yes.
April wasn't that long ago prior to that, when he was in your custody.
His shot should have been up to date. Yes, I took him up here to the animal wellness.
What else do you have for the court to convince me that you are the owner of Sampson?
Rose's testimony itself from when we met with Commissioner Krupa, there was no
Can't hear
denial.
what happened in Commissioner Krupa's courtroom.
Okay, can we ask Ms. Hutari if she gave Sampson to me?
You're gonna be able
She's
to
not-
ask questions of her later. Right now, you're giving your testimony. She's gonna get to ask you questions, and then she's gonna give testimony. You're gonna get to ask her questions.
Okay,
Okay?
I don't have any paperwork. Sampson's tags are on my keychain and I have no access to my keychain
Why do you have no access to your keychain?
because my vehicle is an impound in Sawyer County.
All right. Okay, Ms. Hutari, do you have, the court will receive Exhibit 1. Ms. Hutari, do you have any questions for Mr. Hess?
No,
Hearing his testimony, you have no questions.
I know, I can say that I let him take Sampson in April of 2023 with conditions that he was able to provide a stable home for Sampson and take care of him. I can say I have the copy of the records of when I purchased Sampson. And February 27th of,
Well, there is no dispute that you purchased Sampson. There's maybe argument that you purchased him for an ex-boyfriend, but Mr. Hess agrees you purchased him. It was originally your dog. You got into a relationship, and when you broke up from that relationship, you gave him Sampson.
with conditions.
All right, so explain that.
I gave him Sampson with conditions. I knew that Mike wasn't in a spectacular headspace. And I thought that having Sampson to take care of would help keep him in a better place. Since then, Mike has been in and out of jail. A couple of times, Sampson has wound up in the pound. I believe when he was arrested in Sawyer County, Sampson wound up in the pound then. I have since taken Sampson to the vet, the same vet, got his shots and everything updated. They were not they were not current. I have the same text messages as part of the restraining order that I have against Mr. Hess. He has been, I have video of him driving by my house. I have,
I don't need to hear that. That's not relevant.
okay. He lives with his, or spends a great deal of time with his girlfriend. She lives in a trailer court where the dog's not allowed to be.
Not true.
You can't talk while she's talking.
The owner of the trailer court said that.
Can't tell me what people say.
Okay, I'm sorry. The dog is with me. He's safe. He's in one place. He's no longer being drug all over the world. He's calm. I have someone who can attest to his demeanor now versus what it was before. Samson is safe with me.
So you admit that you gave him Samson in April 2023 because you thought that he needed Samson for whatever reason, but you said you gave him with conditions.
Mhm.
What were the conditions?
The conditions were that he provide him with a stable, safe environment with him, not with his parents while he spends months in jail. It was for Mike to have him and take care of him, not someone else. And as I said, he's been in and out of jail several times. It's not fair to the dog to have him going back and forth. And I said, at the point that I stopped taking Samson, it was because I believed that Mike was doing things he shouldn't be doing. And it was, I made the choice not to have Mike in my life, not the dog, Mike. I own a business. Things in his character are not something I want associated with myself or my business. I went the last time that I made the decision. Mike was in jail on a $25,000 bond. I thought at that point that they were going to keep him. I finally felt safe and comfortable enough. I reached out to Mike's mom. I explained to her that when I let Mike take Samson, it was under the agreement that he was going to be able to take care of him, provide him with a safe place to be. And she said, okay, you can come get him. And I went there without any ill will from his parents, and picked Samson up and brought him home. When they did release Mike, actually his first contact with me was when he called me at my business on my business phone and asked if he could see Samson. And I said, asked how he was doing. I said he was doing well. He asked if he could see him, and I said no. And he asked what I meant by that. I said, you've chosen your road. You've made your choices. No, I don't. I am not going to let you see him. He said, aren't people allowed to change their road? And I replied and said, yeah, we've been down that road before also. And I hung up. Then he sent me the text message going on about a bunch of like whatever past stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with him having Samson. He just repeatedly tells me that I'm wrong and I shouldn't have him. And like I said, there was a time that I had great faith that Mike wouldn't go back down the ugly road that he did. And that's why I trusted him to take Samson. He chose to go back down that ugly road.
All right, so one of your conditions was that he provide a stable home for Samson. By stable home, did you go over what you meant by stable home with Mr. Hess in April 2023?
No, I thought it was obvious at the time. I didn't go into detail.
Did you go over any conditions with Mr. Hess that were clear for him to understand that if he does X, that he will no longer be able to have Samson?
Verbally, no.
Why do you think Mr. Hess is unstable?
he has several open court cases for methamphetamines, narcotics, having a firearm after being a felon. He could still very well wind up in prison. He has I have pictures of him driving by my house, yelling for the dog. I have pictures of him going to my place of business and dumping fish guts and rotten bait into my dumpster. He purposely, when he did that, was sneaky about it, drove around the back where he didn't know that I had a camera. I believe that was on July 13th. I don't believe that that shows actions of somebody who is adult enough, grown up enough to handle the situation. I hope that, you know, Mike finds recovery. And maybe some time down the road, when I believe that he is in a better place, I would allow him to see Sampson, but at this time, I don't think he's in a very good place. And I personally do not want him in my life.
All right, anything else you would like me to know? Mr. Hess, do you have questions for Ms. Utari?
Yeah, what communication did you have with me when you decided you were gonna call my mom and tell her whatever story you told her to get Sampson back? Why is it okay to approach that and not have me involved in that whatsoever? He was my dog, after all, you gave him to me.
You were not attainable, you were in jail.
People are absolutely allowed communication in jail. There is no communication.
You can't, you're not testifying right now. You're simply just asking her questions.
I understand. So you didn't get a hold of me because you thought I was unattainable in jail?
Correct.
Okay. I heard something about being mature enough to handle this the way it should have been or something. It's ironic. So do you think you handled this the correct way?
Absolutely.
So in my head, I'm drawing a picture of, okay, Mike's in jail, regardless of why. I think it's okay to just go get Sampson, even though it's his dog. I'm going to decide what's best for Sampson and what's best for Mike and everybody else right now, because that's my duty, is the kind of impression I get. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are wrong.
Okay, could you clarify that for me?
Your actions showed that you were not there to take care of him. You yourself said that you were in jail for a couple of weeks. You left his care to someone else.
Okay, is that not my right? Would you leave his care to somebody else if you had to take care of something personally?
Situation is a little different. You were.
I don't think
in
so.
jail.
You're not arguing back and forth. You're allowing her to answer the question, and then you can ask her another question.
Okay.
You were certainly not in jail of your own will.
Okay, I don't think that's relevant, but
Are you objecting?
I am objecting, yes.
You don't think it's relevant?
That I was in jail and not of my own will. I don't think anybody volunteers to go to jail. It's not a,
No.
it's not an option program.
But yes, but it is relevant. So yes, you have to
Okay.
answer. Or it is, her answer is allowed.
Okay. Have you seen the pre-sentence investigation for any of my cases? Have you talked to any attorneys or any legal professionals? And do you know my sobriety date?
That's a compound question. What do you
Here
ask?
is, you're right. First, I would like to know if you spoke with anybody in the court system to say that I'm going to prison, or there's a high likelihood that I'm going to prison.
Actually, when we were in front of Commissioner Kupra, he was looking through your files and said, this one alone is 12 years.
Exposure.
And he asked you at that point also, when you went to prison, where do you believe that the dog should be? And you said, with me.
Okay,
As far as your sobriety goes, I don't have a lot of faith in your sobriety in that I see you in and out of the bar regularly. Even if you're not using meth, you're still using other things. And just a few weeks ago, on, I believe I have the date written down, you pulled up in front of the Clam Falls bar. Your girlfriend who's sitting next to you got out of the bar, walked into the bar, got a drink, turned around, walked directly back out and got into your vehicle with the drink.
You witnessed this?
I witnessed that.
what kind of drink was it?
Well, and I'm gonna say that part's irrelevant. What the girlfriend does is not relevant to what Mr. Hess does.
Do you have access to any of my urinalysis? Excuse me, urinalysis samples?
I do not.
Do you know how many I've taken in the last month?
I do not.
3.
You're testifying, so that's.
Oh,
stricken. You
sorry,
can't
I
testify.
apologize, Your Honor. What harm has befallen Sampson because he was in my care?
He was incredibly erratic. He was always on the defense because you put him in different situations all of the time. The only reason that and you personally told me about this, is that you were making an emotional support animal so you could take him into bars. And they couldn't tell you he couldn't be in there.
I object. That is not how I said that.
I'm overruling it. It can stay.
He would spend hours and hours sitting in your truck outside of the bar. At one point, when I did have Sampson, I had taken Sampson for you. You had Stephanie Fisk come and pick him up from me at my store. Several hours later, I was out on a delivery and saw Stephanie's vehicle sitting in front of the bar, with Sampson still sitting in it. I had to message you, and I at that point said, if she was just going to leave him sitting in front of the bar in her vehicle, there was absolutely no reason he couldn't have just stayed with me. You then called her and made her go take him home.
So I did what was right at the time.
Are you testifying or asking?
I'm asking
her
a question. Do you think I did what was right at the time then?
Only after I said that I would go get him if you did not.
After you called me and made me aware of the situation, I did what was right for him, then you're saying? That was a question, sorry.
Probably.
So I hear you use a lot of words, erratic and stuff like that. Where did those words come from, or whose diagnosis is this?
Can I ask somebody to come up?
You may not.
Okay.
You get to have a witness testify later, but right now you are on the stand.
It's the behavior that I witnessed, that I would see. He would walk through the crowd. He was always nervous. He was always high strung. Recently, CarQuest is a place that Mike would often take Sampson to, CarQuest in Frederick. I recently walked in the door with Sampson, and the gal behind that works there said, "Oh my goodness, where did you get such a calm German Shepherd?" And she was petting Sampson, and the owner said at that point, he said, "Yeah, he's like that now. He wasn't."
Well, you can't.
And I know that's
testify.
hearsay.
Unless you have her here to testify, that doesn't come into the record.
I guess that's all that I have.
Where do you get the information about Stephanie's landlord not allowing the animal on the property?
From him, from the landlord, from Craig Swanson.
You had mentioned before something about his insurance not covering an animal.
Well, I'm gonna say none of that is relevant. Well, it could be relevant, but it's hearsay. I don't have the landlord here to testify,
Okay.
so I don't know if it's true, it's not true. I don't know what it is, and it doesn't come in.
Point made, Your Honor. Thank you. Do you remember when you suggested I take Samson to see Jeannie Daniels?
Yep.
Do you remember what happened in that interview or that appointment?
Yep. And when I got Samson back, I took Samson to see Jeannie. And she was amazed at what a different
Is-
dog he was in
Object-
my.
And
Your Honor.
I'm gonna say it shouldn't have even come in with the whole Jeannie Daniels and you've met Samson in another life kind of thing. Unless they're here to testify, they can't, it can't be evidence. Can't
Okay.
come in.
Do you think Samson is a support animal for me?
I believe he was at one time. I believe he no longer is.
I don't have him, of course not.
Is that a question?
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Do you think there is no hope for me? Do you think I am just, my life is not at this point?
I don't see how that's relevant.
Would you like me to,
It's not
Explain.
relevant.
okay? In your text message, you said that Samson tried to save me, but I failed him.
I did.
Okay? For me, that gives the impression that you've given up on me, that there's no hope for me.
It's irrelevant. My opinion of you, what shouldn't matter to you.
It doesn't matter to me. It matters to the court, I believe. No?
Doesn't. And quite honestly, if you have hope, if there's hope for you is so speculative, I don't even know what that means.
I guess I have nothing else, Your Honor.
You have no other questions? Okay. Before we move on, I have perhaps a couple questions for both of you. Mr. Hess, in the texts that you have had as exhibit 1, I believe you are in the blue and it
Yes.
says there were 2 conditions when you gave me Sammy. One was a stable place to live. He had that when you took him from my mom's. Was Sammy living at your mom's?
Sammy was staying, I lived with my parents. I left Samson with my mom and dad when I went to jail.
You live with your parents?
Yes.
So you still live with your parents?
Part-time, yes. Well, yes.
Why do you mean part-time? Because you stay with your girlfriend?
I stay with my girlfriend at times, yes.
So when you moved out and broke up with Ms. Hutari, you both lived together prior to when you were in a relationship, is that
Yes.
correct? And then when you broke up in April 2023, you moved in with your parents?
Yes,
And so you moved in with your parents and that's when she gave you Sammy?
yes,
And so you had your mom and whoever Floyd is watch Sammy when you were in jail?
yes.
How long were you in jail?
5 weeks.
Okay. And with the conditions, I think I only see one was that he have a stable place to, oh, and the other that you bring him to visit.
Yes.
And what does it mean by you bring him to visit? You go and you spend a couple hours together, or you drop him off for a weekend?
The understanding I had at the time was that I'd drop him off and let her spend a day or a night or a weekend with him.
And then when did she say, I don't want to have those visits anymore?
I think after the third visit, so approximately 5 weeks or so,
You would say approximately June of 2023?
beginning of June, end of May, yes.
So you had Sammy from April 2023. She last saw Sammy June of 2023, correct?
Yes.
Now, where she, the condition where she states the condition is a stable place to live, what did you take that to mean?
I thought that meant that someplace where we could lay our head at night. Someplace safe, somewhere where we get shelter, food. Someplace to call home.
All right. Ms. Hutari, in April 2023, when you gave Mr. Hess Sammy with conditions, did you know he was living with his mother in Floyd?
He was not. He was living in an ice castle in Siren, Wisconsin, in his buddy's front yard.
Okay, so when you gave him
That's right.
Sammy, he was living in an ice castle.
Correct.
And so you thought that that was a stable environment? Yes or no?
Yes,
So you thought then why did you say it with such disgust?
because he lied about he omitted the fact that that's where he lived.
How long do you believe he lived in that ice castle?
I am unsure. I very much limited my contact with him. I avoided going places where he was, so I truly am not sure.
But you believe him living in the ice castle in the driveway or yard of his friend was stable?
Based on the people that lived in the house, yes,
Do you think his mother and Floyd are stable?
I do.
Mr. Hess, when did you move? You lived in an ice castle, correct?
I stayed in my buddy's ice castle as soon as I got out of jail, yes.
When you got out of jail?
No, it was when I left Rose's.
How long did you live in that ice castle?
About a month and a half.
And then what, so then that was approximately May or June?
Yeah, it'd have been June, end of June.
And then you moved in with your parents?
Yes.
Well, with your mother and Floyd?
He's my stepdad, yes. He's been
Right.
everything of a dad to me. I can just call him dad would be fine.
And so did you inform Ms. Hutari that you were moving in with your mom?
No,
You know how she found out you were living with her mom? Your
no
mom?
idea. By that time, she had said she didn't want to visit anymore.
When were you arrested and in jail for 5 weeks?
Beginning of April, 2025.
Or just recently?
Yes,
Did you pay bail to get out?
yes,
How much was bail?
$2,500.
2,500. And so you're on certain conditions right now?
Yes,
No drink,
no drink,
no illegal substances?
no illegal substances.
You have a curfew?
No. I am under the supervision of Justice Point out of Sawyer County, and I'm in programs for change in, Sawyer County's Justice Point. I'm enrolled in
I'm well aware of it.
programs for change in Polk County.
Okay. All right. Do you have any witnesses?
No, no, Your Honor.
Do you have any witnesses?
I have Sharice Miller, who occasionally helps me at my shop. And she can attest to the difference in Sampson now versus what he was when Mike had him.
All right, Ms. Miller, please come forward. Raise your right hand. You'll be sworn in, and then come have a seat at the witness stand.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be over there.
When she's seated, you may begin asking her questions.
Catch her name.
Charlene Miller?
Charisse,
Charisse.
Charisse.
Charisse Miller. All right, can you spell Charisse?
Cherrise.
All right, you may begin asking her questions.
Sharice, can you tell me about how Sampson would act when Mike would bring him into the store?
When Mike and Sampson would come in, Sampson never left Mike's side very much. He was very, very skittish. His ears were down, his tail was down. When I try and approach him, he didn't like being approached unless Mike was with him, and then I could pet him a little bit. But then he would like go away. When someone came into the shop, I remember the huge bark he had, and we just had to kind of calm him down, or I should say Mike did, kind of calm him down and bring him back to the back of the store. Now, since then, it was just within the last couple of weeks when Rose brought Sampson into the shop, and his ears were up, his tail is wagging. He came over and he darn near knocked me over by sitting on my feet and wanted to be pet, followed me around. He's a day and night dog. It was quite an improvement that I saw since he's been with Rose.
But you haven't seen Sampson. You saw him that one time in 2023.
Just when Mike would bring him into the shop. And
How many times did you see him in 2023?
oh my goodness, probably, I know twice for sure.
And that was shortly after the two broke up. They terminated their relationship.
Actually, no, they were not broke up at that time. Mike was just with Sampson and came in just Mike and Sampson. Rose was not at the shop at that time.
All right. So when you saw Sampson back in 2023 at the shop, you believe Mr. Hess and Miss Hutari were still in a relationship?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Other questions, Miss Hutari?
No.
You have questions for Ms. Miller?
No, I
All
don't.
right, you may step down.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses? All right. One last time for either of you to provide me with any testimony, any evidence.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, argument, Mr. Hess.
None.
Ms. Hutari, any argument?
No.
All right, well, when you look at this case, this is Rapplin, this is dealing with an animal. An animal is a piece of property. I know to people, it feels like a kid, as you explained, Mr. Hess. I too have dogs, I have cats. They become part of your family. Animals can feel like they are members of your family. So I understand that. And I understand how both of you feel very strongly towards Sampson. You both want him to be healthy. You both want him to be happy. And you want him to thrive. Originally, in the beginning, Miss Hutari was the 100% owner of Sampson. She purchased him back in 2020. She may have purchased him for an ex-boyfriend and gifted him to the ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend didn't take him or have him, so he remained property of Miss Hutari. You both got into a relationship, and then in about, well, She purchased him in 2018. It was 2020 when you got into the relationship after being friends for a while, and then you terminated your relationship. You went your separate ways in April of 2023, and you broke up. Both of you admit that this was a gift, that Ms. Hutari gifted Sampson to Mr. Hess. You both indicate that there were conditions upon this gift. So this is a gift with conditions, and it is something that can be done. It's a conditional gift. It means a transfer of property where the recipient must fulfill specific conditions, not only to receive, but to keep this gift, this property. And the two conditions were, one, that Mr. Hess give a stable place for Sampson to live, and two, that Sampson be able to visit with Ms. Hutari. Sometime down the road, Ms. Hutari, after approximately 3 visits or so, wanted to sever all ties with Mr. Hess, and you indicated, Ms. Hutari, you were done. You didn't want to have those visits anymore. You didn't want to see Mr. Hess because seeing Sampson means Mr. Hess comes with him. And so you cut off, or you canceled and you terminated that condition. So what remains is the condition of stability or stable. I have in writing in a text message that one of the conditions was a stable place to live. And that was put into a text from Mr. Hess to you, Ms. Hutari. Ms. Hutari, when you testified, you indicated that you did have the condition of that he have a stable environment. When I asked you what that meant, you said, well, we didn't talk about it. I didn't explain what that meant to have a stable environment with Mr. Hess. That means that that term is not defined. It needs to be defined. You need to say you need to have a stable environment where he's going to have a place to live. He's going to have food. He's going to have a bed to sleep in. He's not going to be subjected to this, that, or the other. I understand your concerns that he's left in a car while Mr. Hess is in a bar. You didn't define stable. You didn't define stable environment. And I heard the testimony of Ms. Miller. She's a great friend and a great employee, and she wants to be there to support you. She testified as to a condition of Sammy when you two were together. So he was erratic when you two were together. So I don't have any starting point of when he was simply with Mr. Hess versus when he was with both of you together. So by hearing that testimony, it hears that you may have been part of the problem or whatever made Sammy erratic. Maybe it was the tension that Sammy felt between you and Mr. Hess. Maybe you were arguing all the time. Animals are very intuitive. They feel our emotions. They feel when we're sad. They feel when we're happy, they feel when we're nervous. They feel all of those things, and they are there. And so all I have to go on right now is that condition of a stable place to live. Now, I probably wouldn't have defined living in an ice shack for a period of time as a stable place to live. It's not a home. However, you didn't find an issue with living in the ice shack. You liked where his friends were, who his friends were. You liked that it was, I guess, he had a place to live. But within a month or two, he moved in with his parents, them as being stable people, his mom and Floyd, stable people. Sounds like you have good affection for them, or you don't have anything negative to say about them. So he had a stable place to live with Sammy. So that to me, he meets that condition, whether or not he's in jail for 5 weeks or whether or not he's in jail perhaps maybe a little longer than that, will be unstable if he's not able to take care of Sammy. But that was not a condition. Your condition was not, you can have Sammy, but only you have to take care of him. He can't be anywhere else. You can't leave him in your car when you go to a bar. You can't do this. You can't do that. Your condition was a stable place to live. Mom and Floyd are stable. He was temporarily allowing Mom and Floyd to take care of Sammy, not removing him from that environment. And you no longer wanted visitation with Sammy. So had you wanted that visitation, I can see that it would be part of the gift, the conditional gift, that Mr. Hess call you up and say, Ms. Hutari, I'm in jail. I can't take care of Sammy right now. Can you take care of him until I get out of jail? But you didn't want to have those visitations, and he was not under that requirement to notify you about that. And as I see it right now, yes, he may have open serious cases in Sawyer County, Polk County, whatever the counties, he may be under conditions. However, at this time, Sammy has a stable place to live. He's living with his mom and Floyd. You can't take Sammy back and forth to your girlfriend. His place to live is with your mom and Floyd. That's the stable place. If you get your own environment, your own home, and Sammy can move to that home, that would be stable. You can't bring him back and forth. He has a place to live. And it's with mom and Floyd until you have your own place to live. But I can't find that he violated the condition of a stable place to live because Sammy has that. However, I will say it will violate that condition if he goes to prison or if he goes to jail for a lengthy period of time. 5 weeks is not a lengthy period of time. He could have went on vacation for 5 weeks. Regardless of where he was, he left Sammy in a good home being taken care of by his mom and Floyd. So he did not violate that condition. So I'm finding that Sammy belongs with Mr. Hess, and he must be turned over to Mr. Hess within 1 week. If he's not turned over within 1 week, you will violate the court's order and you could be held in contempt. The only condition that remains is he provide a stable home. If you can provide concrete information that he's not providing a stable home for Sammy, then he violates that condition, and then Sammy could be returned back to you. I don't find he violated that condition. I find you actually violated it by going to his parents and removing Sammy or telling them that I am here to take Sammy back. He didn't violate that condition. So Sammy is rightfully a gift to Mr. Hess with now the only remaining condition to have a stable place to live. It's unfortunate, I understand. You went 2 years without seeing Sammy, 2 years without seeing Sammy, being involved in Sammy's life. And that is hard on a dog as well. But I'm going to tell you, the dog remembers you. The dog remembers Mr. Hess. The dog will remember your ex-boyfriend if he had a relationship with him. Dogs are great that way. They remember happiness. They remember horror. So within 1 week of today, which would be July 28th, Sammy must be returned to Mr. Hess. Mr. Hess, I am telling you right now, you must have a stable, as you say, a stable place for Sammy to live. He can't be brought back and forth. He really shouldn't be kept in your vehicle while you're at a bar. He shouldn't be, not looked at or taken care of. And I don't know if you did or did not have his shots up to date, but that's a part of being a good pet owner. You have to keep him up to date. Not only is it for Sammy, but it's the law. Okay, he needs to ensure that he has his rabies and all of those other things. So again, that is the order of the court, and it's unfortunate because I think Sammy sounds like a very, very good dog, and it's unfortunate that your relationship ended the way it did. I'm not going to go into what you are allegedly committed or allegedly
Accused of?
charged with in those actions. Mr. Hess, it sounds like that if any of those allegations are true, you better get your life back in check. Because if you continue down that road, that is going to be a violation, and Sammy deserves better than that.
Does.
All right, so that is the order of the court.
With the restraining order in place, we might want to talk about how to get the dog.
Is it,
to
has he
him.
been served?
I don't think he's been served, but in Polk, they're probably going to serve him within this week.
Polk County actually asked Burnett County to serve it. They haven't been able to catch up with him at his parents' house because he's always at his girlfriend's house.
Our clerk checked with our Polk County or our Burnett County Sheriff's Department, and we don't have it, do we?
I didn't get the.
They had it.
Because I realized it wasn't our restraining order.
Oh. Well, then it can be 1 week exchange here at the government center within 1 week. When would you like to exchange the dog?
I don't know. Can't believe this is actually happening.
That's why you have to be specific and clear in your conditions. All right, then I'm just gonna say Wednesday, 1 o'clock.
I have group on Wednesdays, Your Honor. Would you like me to cancel or
No, I do not want you to cancel group.
Tuesdays and Fridays are open for me?
And Friday at 1.
Canceled group to be here today.
No, I didn't.
Well, I don't want him canceling group because if he goes to group, that's showing that he's trying to improve his life. He's trying to remain sober. I don't know what the full allegations are against Mr. Hess. I have heard that it involves illegal substances. All right, Friday at 1, Government Center.
I won't be here Friday.
Well, then Tuesday at 1,
So tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
tomorrow at 1. Right in front of the Government Center. Again, now we're very clear at what the condition is, a stable place for Sammy to live, food, shelter, bed.
He goes to prison.
Well, he goes to prison, obviously, you get the dog. That's not a stable environment. He can't give the dog then to his
Moving the
mom
dog
and
back
dad.
and forth isn't stable either, but.
Going where back and forth?
if he goes
Then
to
why'd you remove
prison,
him from my parents?
forth between the parents and me.
No, it won't happen. If he violates that condition, he goes to prison, he can't provide a stable home for him. That means he goes back to you. He can't then say, mom and dad take care of him for however many years I'm going to be in prison. That is not a safe environment. Granted, he would be safe with mom and Floyd, but if he goes away for a significant amount of time to jail or to prison, and I'm going to define going to jail about a year or prison, or 6 months. That's not a stable environment,
Correct.
okay? And you can't then pass off Sammy to be taken care of by your mom and Floyd. That's why it's very important if you gift somebody with a condition, it needs to be very clear what your statement was, because you did testify that you gave him Sammy because you believed he was not emotionally handling things well and that he needed Sammy. And then you testified that he lived in an ice shack. Those don't sound stable to me, but those were the conditions upon which you gave Sammy. So it has to go from there. All right, tomorrow at 1. We are adjourned.